Welcome again to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. I am hosting solo in this very quick preview of the upcoming match for Fulham against West Ham. This preview is going to be specifically centered around the team news, as we heard a good amount of it today. We heard this from the presser from Marco Silva, so that's where the majority of this quick preview is going to be about. If you're watching live, feel free to share your comments on what we're going to talk about, but this preview will be focused heavy on the team news and not as much on previewing West Ham per se. I do have a lot of respect for West Ham. We'll talk about them briefly, but this is going to be a quick show. We will have a show after the match on Sunday, another Cottage Talk full-time. This should be great, and I will be there along with a few co-hosts. We'll be looking back at this match shortly after the match ends, but I wanted to do a quick preview of this match for everyone based on what I had seen on Twitter in regards to the team news. Before we do that, I just also want to mention, if you're watching live on YouTube and have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps other Fulham supporters and other supporters of other clubs find us. So please do subscribe on YouTube. Also, as you might know, maybe you don't know, Cottage Talk is now part of the talkSPORT fan network, and this is great news for us. There's going to be a big push from talkSPORT after the World Cup. We're getting in on the ground floor, and we're going to be part of many other fan-related podcasts that are going to be part of this network. We're in the beginning stages. Look forward to seeing where this takes us. So just wanted to start there. Okay, so let's start with some opening thoughts on West Ham, and they have started slow. But what's interesting about West Ham right now, they are in a good run of form. They've actually won 4 out of their last 5. I know 3 are in the Europa League Conference, but they're on a little bit of a mini run. So that is not a good sign for Fulham. So they are starting to get their stuff together. And as we look at the table, Fulham are currently 8th, and West Ham are currently 15th, but we're only separated by 4 points. So even though they have started slow, and Fulham had started pretty good, West Ham is right there. And just want to mention a little bit my thoughts on West Ham. I've always been a fan of David Moyes, especially when he was at Everton. Didn't really work out for him after that until he got to West Ham, and he's put it together. And I know that they've had a very poor start for their standards to this season. But last season they were great, and look what they did in the Europa League. They were fantastic. So kudos to them. This is going to be a tough opponent for Fulham at the London Stadium going on the road. So this is going to be tough on Sunday. But I think Fulham are up for the challenge, even though they are coming off that bad loss down to 10 men against Newcastle United. We'll see how Fulham respond to this loss. Players to watch: Declan Rice is a player that I happen to like. Jared Bowen, and a player to watch recently, starting to score some goals, especially in the Europa League Conference, is Gianluca Scamacca, but he's a dangerous player. This is a player to watch for West Ham. And this is not going to be an easy match. It's a match Fulham can win, but we shall see if that happens. And thank you. This is my friend Chris, who's a Patriots fan, but also, as you could see, a Liverpool supporter. He said, hit the subscribe button. It would make me happy. So thank you very much, Chris, for chiming in there. Okay, so let's go to the team news right now. Let's talk about the players that are out for Fulham. And according to the Fulham Twitter account, Layvin Kurzawa and Nathaniel Chalobah, because of a suspension for Chalobah, he's out. So these are the 2 players that are listed as out. And I know what Fulham supporters think of Chalobah right now, but I'm here to tell you that I think Chalobah will have a role sometime during the season, because if you've watched our great player, Paulinho, he does have the knack for getting yellow cards, so he might get some more suspensions. You might need Chalobah again, so I'm just mentioning that. I know how Fulham supporters feel about him right now. I'm not willing to give up on him. I still think that there's talent there, but I think that he had a little bit to prove against Newcastle United, and he let that get the best of him. I think he was trying too hard, and ended up costing him and the team. So hopefully he will learn from his mistakes. Kurzawa is a concern because we don't know what the status overall is of Anthony Robinson. Is he back? So I'll be talking about that in just a second because there are plenty of players that are listed as potentially being doubts for this match. Actually, they were listed as doubts. Let's start with the biggest one. No Mitro, no problem. No, this would be a problem for Fulham. I do want to see what Fulham have with Vinicius, but for me, if Mitro can't play, it's going to affect how Fulham play against West Ham big time because he's been a huge part of everything that Fulham do along with Paulinho. They've been the mainstays, the players that make Fulham go, those two players. So for me, this is something to watch. But I know there are some supporters that are thinking, you know what? Just rest Mitro, get him ready for the Bournemouth match. I'm completely against that if he is ready to play. If he's not ready to play, then absolutely. But if he gets the clearance to play, I would not stop from playing him. I would play Mitro if he's fit to play. If he's borderline, that's a decision to make. But if he's fit to play, you play him, you start him. That's the way I'm going. You don't protect players. Footballers want to play if they're fit to play. I understand the whole thing that you want to look at the big picture, rest him for the Bournemouth match. No. If he's fit to play, Mitro should play and he should start. That's a decision for the physios and for Marco. But if he's fit to play, he should play. That's just my opinion on that. Okay. So now let's move on to the first conundrum for Fulham, and that's, can Fulham survive once again without Anthony Robinson? I can't believe I'm saying this because I've been a huge critic of his last season, but he's proved me wrong. And I think Fulham got by in the Nottingham Forest match, but I think West Ham are a much better side than Nottingham Forest. So my answer would be, I don't think they can get by without Anthony Robinson. Kurzawa was out for the match. I think if you're putting Tim Ream again at left back, you're just asking for trouble. So for me, you need Anthony Robinson for this match. If he's not able to go, I don't like Fulham's chances. Maybe even more than Mitro in this match. A lot of how I'm going to feel about this match going into an hour before the match when we see the starting 11, I'll be looking for this name. Is Anthony Robinson ready to go? He is a doubt for this match. This is a concern. And then could we see the return of Kenny Tete? Again, another player that I think Fulham desperately need in this match. Kenny Tete has been fantastic so far. Nothing against Kevin Mbabu. I'm not giving up on Mbabu. I've seen some supporters that are down on him. And again, it's too small of a sampling to make a judgment on Kevin Mbabu. So for me, Kenny Tete, if he's ready to go, huge boost. I will get behind Kevin Mbabu if he needs to play. But for me, the biggest situation would have to be Anthony Robinson. Just want to mention that. Okay. Now, here's another one that's very interesting. How close is Harry Wilson to return? Now, if you go to the Fulham Twitter account, it has a question mark next to his name. So is he ready to go? Is this possible games for Fulham? I don't know what the situation is with Harry Wilson. Is he ready to go? I'm not sure about that. So we shall see if Harry Wilson is ready to go in this match. But that'll be an interesting one for us to watch. Okay. And what about the situation with Willian? Willian actually has been valuable for Fulham this season. Reportedly, he might not be available for a while. We'll have to wait and see on the status of Willian for this match. Okay, let's move on and let's talk about João Palhinha. João Palhinha, for me, is a huge boost for Fulham. He is very important to how Fulham play. So for me, we shall see what an impact he has. Along with Mitro, it comes down to Palhinha and, of course, Mitro. If both of them can play, then Fulham will have a very good chance to win this match. That's the way that I am looking at it. Okay. Let's see, got some comments here. From Chris Goodwin, is Harry Wilson back yet? Not sure yet, Chris, I'm not sure if he's back yet. We shall see if he's back. Hopefully, we will get some team news shortly, maybe tomorrow, or we might have to wait, obviously, until the starting 11 is announced shortly before the match begins, an hour before. So we shall see. Okay. So that's that on that. Coming up next, I'm going to give you my prediction for the match. Okay, here is my prediction for the match. So I'm looking at it this way. If Fulham are fully healthy, we're talking Mitro can play, Anthony Robinson can play, Kenny Tete can play. You bring back Paulinho. If these players are available to Fulham, we're talking about Mitro, Tete, and Robinson, along with the addition of Paulinho being back, I think Fulham can win this match, and I'm going with 3-1 to Fulham. If one of these players cannot play, I'm going in the exact opposite way. So basically, my prediction is all about availability. If Fulham are basically fully fit with probably their strongest starting 11, I'm going with a Fulham victory. If not, I'm going with a West Ham victory 3-1. So either way, I'm going with a 3-1 score in this match. Okay. Let's see. My friend Chris says, if Mitro plays, I give you a shot. No, Mitro, a West Ham win 2-0. I certainly understand that. Chris, totally do. Well, listen, I want to thank everyone for watching and listening to this very quick episode of Cottage Talk. Fortunately, I've been very busy lately and have not had the opportunity to do many shows. But I want to thank everyone who watches and listens to the show. As I mentioned, we will have Cottage Talk full-time after Fulham's match against West Ham on Sunday. And as I always mention, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do. It just helps other supporters find us. And as I mentioned, Cottage Talk is now part of the talkSPORT fan network. Well, that's going to do it for this quick episode of Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk, now part of the talkSPORT fan network.